Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of assistance? What part of the colony would you like to discuss? We're cleared to dock with the Groundbreaker if that's your desired destination. If we're going there, please be sure all docking forms have been filed in triplicate and fees have been paid. The Mardettes take their docking laws quite seriously. I can, yes. Let me add that to my list of 1,435,498 tasks You are more than welcome, Captain. The Groundbreaker was Halcyon's original colony ship. It has since been repurposed as a service station in the Lagrange point of the system. Freighters often deliver or pick up goods from the Groundbreaker en route to other destinations. Many of Halcyon's companies maintain office spaces with stationed representatives. I have filed the required docking forms in triplicate, and fees have been paid. How can I be of assistance? Certainly, Captain. What would you like to hear? Now playing a Spacer's Choice advertisement jingle.
It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's Choice.
Everyone in Halcyon is contractually obligated. As you wish, Captain. See you soon, Captain.
Can we talk? Hey, Captain. I heard that Groundbreaker's got a real good engineer. A lady named Junlei Tennyson? I was thinking that maybe I ought to meet her. If you got time to swing us by, I mean. I don't got much experience fixing actual spaceships. I bet you a can of Borston beans she could teach me all. Thanks, Captain. I'll be sure to make it. Did you want to talk about something else? What? You want me to leave? Captain, you can't mean it. Oh,
I find myself marveling at the complex simplicity of the Fibonacci spiral. Something vexing. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Just your run-of-the-mill vicar with a violently... that's what my parents called it. I grew up in a pit of a town, much like Edgewater. I was destined to be a laborer like my parents, but I was infected early with a need to solve the equation. My parents they internalized the precepts of scientism like no one I've ever known. They had a pure faith, a faith that brought joy to them regardless. I envied that. I wanted that peace. They thought I was fighting the plan, should have accepted my lot. The simple version is this. The force which we call the Grand Architect created the universe. Everything flows from the equation, or in layman's terms, the Grand Plan. Is the Grand Architect... The answers to these questions don't really matter. The equation, The plan is not one rigid path. There are a variety of multitudes contained with... Some choices make the path smoother. It's like an unbreakable elastic band. It will only stretch so... I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous philosopher scholar who fled Terra 2 some years ago. He's an expert on Baconu. He's also who... The only one I'm aware of. I suppose... 1,000 pardons, my good captain. I thought... Now, as far as... We should start on the Groundbreaker. It's where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. Great... All I need is access to a data cartridge from the security terminal. I'll comb the last 6 months of departure manifest to track... Before I transferred to Edgewater, I had a wealth of time to develop certain, secular skills. I meditated, led sermons. Thank you, Captain.
Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of... The unit is a cleaning SAM. Hawthorne brought it on board some cycles ago, I'm sure with the intent to modify it. But I've never seen it. Alex likely recorded progress notes detailing his efforts to modify SAM. If you check the terminal in your captain's quarters, we may be able to determine what work remains in order for SAM to properly operate. Take care. Welcome back, Captain. How... I have lo- I prefer to think of it as being in a state of slumber. Perhaps for an When I simulate myself in such a scenario, I do not find it to be desirable. I think. Fortunately for you, I am similarly programmed. I assure you, not for a lack of trying. Captain Hawthorne did. As you may be aware, Captain Alex Hawthorne was a smuggler of some repute. In our travels together, Alex liked to pass time by... If you mean, was Captain Hawthorne my first? How can I be of assistance? May luck be with you. Of course, as I am sure you are aware, luck... The ship used to be much quieter.
Just checking your ship's manifest. Standard procedure. Welcome to Groundbreaker, by the by. Don't mind the heat. Got a few days before it reaches critical. I'm sure Miss Chief...
Smells like grease and unwashed bodies. Just as I remembered.
That's not the point. This halfwit just knocked out one of my workers.
Hey, no offense, but I don't think this walking Saltuna can's gonna appreciate you
Keep talking, Millstone. See what happens. Now's not a good time. I'm dealing with a...
So, go space yourself. Problem solved.
You must really want a truncheon through your teeth. Do what you want. I'm done here.
Whatever you heard? I had this foreman, right? Guy never liked me, always trying to get a rise out of me. But I keep my chin up, right? Be the bigger man, I tell myself. He's a Spacer's chosen man, though. So when the Chosen beat my Rangers the other night, my foreman comes swaggering up with his head... That's when I broadsided him with a tossball stick. Look, this was a long time coming. Guy thinks he can push me around because he's some sky-high foreman, and I'm just... well, former dock worker. Enjoy my freedom. Scrounged together enough... Hey, not for nothing. But I saw you wander out of that ship over there by the dock. Captain of the Unreliable. Hey, I don't want to talk your ears off, guessing you got places to be. Felix Millstone. See you around, boss.
Mechanicals all over, but they still got us sweating to move boxes.
Just arrived? Head over to customs. Wheeler needs to process you.
Customs and inspection, right this way! Identification, please. Captain Hawthorne, you said. Let me apologize in advance. According to your ship's record, you've been flagged by the board. Your ship will be impounded until such a time as they see fit.
But we've hardly been out of Edgewater long enough to get in trouble.
Well, isn't this wonderful? The captain's done something to get on the board's bad side.
Now, hold on. This isn't the end of the world. Probably. You'll want to take it up with Udom Bedford, our board representative here on ground. His office is located along the starboard wall of the promenade. Shines like a Byzantium commode. You can't miss it. Access to that information is above my pay grade, and I've turned down 3 promotions. I shouldn't be mentioning it, but what the hell? This here, impounding your ship, it doesn't happen much. The board knows we don't take kindly to their interfering in our operations. If I had to take a guess as to why, you must have riled up someone important. You take the starch out of them, well, you won't hear any Oh, and if you're headed that way, would you mind doing me a favor? Wanda Dorset over in sickbay, tell her the shipment's not in yet. It's not coming in anytime soon, and if she'd be so obliged to get off my ass about it. A handful of SAM cleaning units retrofitted for surgery. I don't know much else. I stopped listening when she started yelling. Much appreciated. Is there anything else I can help you with? The fence. You'll find her in the rest and go, on your left when you enter the promenade. Make sure you bring an empty belly. You noticed, huh? What can I say? We're passionate folks, and the board can't abide that independent spirit, especially not when it might impact their all their interstellar freighters come through us, and we skim a few bits off. Folks around here will bluster that the board hates our freedom, but really, they know we can stop their outsys. You sure you didn't just step off one of the interstellar freighters? There's no working with the board. They don't share. Not bits, people, groundbreaker, co-op. You mean the heat? Sure, we could make them fix it. But what would they do in retaliation? They got assault cruisers, gunships, and a handful of mining. We push them too hard? Maybe they decide we'd be better in 10 trillion little pieces. Or they cobble together a new...
The board wouldn't do that. Would they?
The board is necessary to provide order to the colony. They believe it's their prerogative to overrun you.
It's a tough line to walk, no doubt about that. But we make do. He's friendly enough unless you speak ill of the board. Get the sense he doesn't care for Groundbreaker much. Not that he would, being a board man and all. He's our liaison. Yep, Groundbreaker's the only real independent port. Aside from us, there's just tramp. Seems like every year the board's offices get bigger and their ships take up more of the landing base. Haven't seen nearly as... Sure thing. Maybe. Most of the shipping traffic in the system passes through Groundbreaker. 2 biggest operations are the board. That is, Halcyon Holdings and Sublight Salvage. But most of those jobs are going to take you off stage. Commandant Sanita might have a couple of folks she needs killed. Bad folks, I mean. Not regular folks. Chief Junlei might have an errand.
No kidding? I'd love to get a look at this old girl's innards. I bet they're real twisty and weird.
Happy to help. That's my...
You're real good at it, too.
Well, thank you, miss. It's nice to be...
Can we move this along? I have a certain,
Relative to the board holdings? Not really. But there's a few. They aren't rich. but they aren't likely to look too close at your work history. They strip the parts from derelict ships and abandoned outposts. There's some that say they make... Sublight gives... They're on the promenade. Are you pulling my leg? You must be one of them long-haul freighters from outside the colony. Well, it goes like this. Back on Earth, before the crossing, the powers that be were selling off stakes in distant... A bunch of companies decided to throw in together and form... Sitting around drinking whiskey and smoking cigars, yeah, probably. Can't say for sure, Yep, Groundbreaker's the only real independent port. Aside from us, there's just... Seems like every year the board's offices get bigger and their ship... Groundbreaker was one of the original colony vessels to come over on the crossing, a few years before her sister ship. Once everybody'd been de-thawed and dropped dirtside, the original crew... I guess that was the start of our independent spirit. Glad to help. All right. Most places are on the promenade deck. Big door yonder, straight through security. I got a preference for the Lost Hope myself. Talk to... You need anything else? You let me know. Be seeing you.
Unless you're here to file an incident report or to inquire about the bounty... Got a hot one for you. Captain Gunnar McRed. Just 26... Allegations include several... Swerving in the air was more like it. Then he crashed hard into the dock. Spilled... Last tip we got pointed toward the back bays. You want... Oh, I will. Soon as the chief approves the person... You and about 6 other enterprising mavericks. So, I do hope you're... Do I look like your gossipy best friend? While I'm on post. I'm not here for a chat. We're the security force here on Groundbreaker. Started back before the crossing, you know. The original force was made up of a Marine detachment from the 77th Marine X. Folks started calling us Mardettes because it was easier to say.
Hi there. Haven't seen... What can ground... This is the security desk, ma'am. If you're here to report a crime... I'm not so good at filing. We We can't just let anyone walk in here. Maybe if you clear an open bounty and get in good with Commandant Sunita? Well, let me think about... No? We got a lot of rules to follow. Hard to... Yeah, I'm getting that, but this maybe... All right. Less than there used to be. Fewer freighters passing through these days. Search me? I mean, don't search me. I reckon you'd have to ask the folks... Sure, and stuff from outside the system, too. Off the interstellar freighters. That'd be awful weird. All right.
This is it. Security. I can check the departures registry to find out which crew the Scholar, shipped in and out with.
I picked up this weird signal the other day. It was coming from Monarch.
Here we go again. No one lives on Monarch. It's a wasteland. You were here...
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. The board would like to remind spacers and other travelers that passage to Mars is no protection. Canyons of acid and sulfur rain are the least of the horrors plaguing the surface of Monarch. Anarchists live as one with the animals, lawless, savage, and unemployed. The board's embargo ensures that nothing can leave the planet and threaten our hard-working citizens. This is Halcyon News, reminding you that there's no I in news, no we in Halcyon, and no Mercury in Saltuna.
Yeah, I've done work for Sublight. Need to pay the bill somehow.
Try not to be distracted by the glare of the adverts. Lots of unsavory types about.
Can we rent an upstairs room?
Bless my heart. A stranger come knocking on a poor old woman's door. You here for a particular reason? Or did the neighbors tell you how good my sugar cookie... Those have been the height of illegality since Stellar Bay turned their noses up at the board. You and I could be thrown to the void just for discussing such a transaction. Lucky for us, Groundbreaker's a free port. We're outside of the board's control. For the time being. Now, I only have the one nav key. And they're hard to come by these days. It won't be cheap. If you find yourself lacking in the bits... Well, I find I'm in need of a ship captain with a little... moral flexibility. Might be this could help. Do you know Edna, over in engineering? Sweet as a pea, that one. On occasion, she'll pass along transmissions I might... She sent me a recording of a distress signal she'd scraped from the ground. Curious thing is, it came from an outpost called... Can't say I know for sure.
Sounds like someone poking into somewhere they shouldn't be got into a spot of trouble.
Comm centers don't operate themselves, Captain. Someone had to have sent that distress call manually.
Those corps are cleverer than all get out. Edna didn't seem to think so, and I trust the dear girl's judgment. Well, maybe not in men, but she knows. And if someone set up shop in... I appreciate a woman who knows one when she hears it. If you should find a secret worth selling, might be I could find a buyer. The more we got the corpse fighting each... My goodness, aren't you quick on the uptake? I like that. Should you find yourself then we ought to have it... Law bless your atoms. Here's a copy of the SOS recording, complete with the coordinates. Might want to acquaint yourself with Junlei Tennyson, Groundbreaker's chief. She's been... You'll find her... What do you want, then? My hard-earned wisdom? Groundbreaker's radiators. But neither fine nor... Miss Junlei's supposed to be getting them fixed, but the board... The board can't abide a community that won't... They've always got one scheme or another running, looking for ways to bring us to heel. Like this heat bit, but it won't work. No. Oh, a little of this, a little of that. I also...
I'm not sure that's entirely legal.
That's half the reason I make them. But that's not what you wanted to talk about. Ask the common folk, and they'll tell you it's on account of all the monsters on Monarch desperate to gobble you up. Because that's what the board tell. I think they made some fool mistake that would make them look bad to the rest of the colony. And they're trying to... Those board folk are real prideful-like. But old Gladys knows the score. The whole colony's not... That's why we gotta keep them from getting their grubby mitts on... Probably. Everyone claims he's That's right, dearie. Though for how long? The board can't abide a community that won't... They've always got one scheme or another running, but it...
Cosmo finals are scheduled to air soon.
I get strange comms chatter every time I fly by Monarch. What's going on?
It's almost time for today's episode. Won a charming copper kettle.
I don't have time for this.
Gladys can get you a snack if you're hungry.
I know she's in there, Mfuru.
Go back to Byzantium, you gold-plated bastards.
Yeah, no one wants you on Groundbreaker.
These chairs are bored. I'm just gonna hang in the back and try not to touch anything.
You'd think the board and its agents would be more content, sitting at the top of the system's food chain as they are.
Ah, yes. Wheeler messaged me you were coming. You must be the captain of the Unreliable, a vessel that used to be helmed by one Alex Hawthorne. And you are not he. Has something happened to my favorite scruffy freelancer? What? All right, I suppose. How might I assuage your fears? Whom else would I work for? Those sublight thugs? That Tennyson woman? The sweaty masses in the groundside? The board is the only force for order in this rough-and-tumble colony of ours. Without them, we'd all starve to death or meet our end in a canid's jaws. That's a curious question. I can't say I've ever considered how my personal satisfaction factors into the work I do. Permit me to answer your question another way. In Byzantium, I was one among many. I often felt, lost in the hurry, and here I have a measure of power and suffer little oversight. I understand. And I would ask the same of you, but I suspect... Well, I suspect I'd find your answers... Indeed. And you know where he... Oh, and there we are. I've removed the lock on your ship in a show of my gratitude. An apprehension of this caliber will be tremendous for my career. I'll send you straight away to my superiors in Byzantium, only... Oh, no. Oh, no. Just a teensy one, the teensiest. Nothing to, lie awake worrying about. The thing is, I needed... That's really neither here nor there. I might have pawned my official board seal to...
Stray too much from the, straight and narrow, and one may just find himself assigned past...
To give away something so important to you, there must have been some curious reasons.
I'll thank you not to question my motives, young miss. It's only temporary, of course. I'd never leave something so important in the hands of some... So you'll need to get my seal back from her if you... That's the long and short of it, yes. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I'm certain Gladys can be made, well, can probably be made to see reason. I'll be waiting eagerly for your return. Now, is there any way... Be my guest.
Law, but it's miserable. My underarms are dead. Chief Tennyson is supposedly looking into the deplorable. A luxury stateroom reserved for Chairman Rockwell's use. To serve at our most esteemed chairman's behest is an... As this office is the primary embassy for the board on...
I'm the certified representative of the board's interests here on the Groundbreaker. I have few complaints.
Oh, you've noticed my friends. They're here to keep the... Precisely. When the alternative is board guards at their gate? Oh, good law! Who'd want to go to that toxic... No. Emphatically no. Best to be clear, I believe. Ask away.
Sometimes sacrifices must be made to stay aligned with the plan. Unfortunate, but necessary.
The capture of Norman terrorist Phineas Wells. Report any sightings to your local board embassy. Have you seen this man? Reward offered for information leading to the capture of Norman terrorist Phineas Wells. Report any sightings to your local board embassy. RT greeting, potential customer. This unit is programmed to shock simulation on... Shock simulation restored. Initiating shocked subroutine. How dare you? Shocked subroutine complete. Estimated guilt level of customer increased by 35%. Resuming protein. This unit dispense proteins for your... Beginning dispensing sequence. Please.
If you're hungry, you know what sprats are? Space rats. Sprat meat. Terra Frying is a Spacer's Choice brand secret. A mix... Legally? No. The Terra Frying method between you, me, and this grinder, might be that this old space... Absolutely not. War. Just as well. Long as you don't mind me grinding spratwurst while we... Just as well.
Easy.
This is how
Those XF411s? And an old Yakita 37? You think they'd let me peek at the power plant?
Do you have what it takes?
Thought there'd be more machinery. Must be housed on a sub-level.
I could spend all day in here and not have looked at half the best stuff.
Junlei Tennyson. I'm captain around here, but chief to my friends. Hope you don't mind. No, it isn't. It's a mess. Just so we understand each other, I'm the final word on the ship. The Mardits, the crew, the engineers, their family. I hope... Good. Don't go making trouble. So what brings you to Groundbreaker? I'm curious, even though not... Interesting. The powers that be paint an ugly picture of Monarch. We see a lot of the same...
What? I didn't think you just...
Parvati, is it?
I was just thinking, I haven't got much experience working with actual, real...
Junlei is fine.
Okay. Since you run a whole space station, I was wondering if... Well, maybe you could teach me.
I'd be happy to make the time, Parvati.
Right. Wow, great. I'll do that then. Messages. Couldn't have done it without your moral support, Captain.
Now, if there's nothing else, there are other parts of the ship begging for my attention. Groundbreaker's radiators need replacement parts. Only the board has access to new parts, and they want us to sweat, thinking that'll soften me up for a bad faith deal. If you'll excuse me, the board isn't helping and my resources are spread thin. If I don't get those radiators back online, Groundbreaker? Reasonable, huh? That's the best news I've heard all day. According to my grandmother's old schematics, the parts we need should be in the back bays. Sorry, I forget not everyone knows this ship like I do. The back bays are on a lower deck, long abandoned, and a haven. I have. One of my engineers, plus a small I can't afford to lose any Mardits on them. Mardits are descended from the original Marine detachment that crossed the void with Groundbreaker. I don't put the... You must not have been here long. In Halcyon, new parts come by way of interstellar freighters from Earth. That means that... Fatalism has got no home on Groundbreaker. Between us captains, I try to avoid sounding as... Those idiots are immune to reason, and they don't much care. If you could find some way to solve this without violence, I'd prefer that. But more... Good. Once you've obtained the parts, we can proceed.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following... story. Remember Auntie Cleo? Because she remembers you.
You seem down.
Board patrol nicked a friend of mine. Accused her of piracy.
CNP Bourse Pockets. Candy Macro. CNP pancake mix now requires no mixing. Seriously, don't mix it.
I'm not going anywhere, you hear? You can't get me out of there.
Please don't make a scene, Dr. Fenhill. What seems to be the problem? Not without dispensation from Chief Junlei. We don't have the ability to manufacture. Regrettably, we are dependent on the board for... We'd nearly signed... Take care.
Med bays for crew only. Freighters got to see their ship's sawbones.
I'm sorry. See, Furu? We could have avoided all this
Let me get one thing straight. Jesse and I are not friends. As for the rest, I'm trying to figure that out. All I know is that she's been here too long, and she's a... Be my guest. If you know something I don't about dealing with hospital...
When might we expect...
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertising.
Gracious. I was just... Depends. Something as hard to come by as an official board seal doesn't fall into a girl. See the lights. Taking a show or two at the infamous Bijou. All right, I'll sell it to you. Anything else, dear? Yes, dear. You could always try your hand at landing in Cascadia if you're interested in dying horribly. Landing pad on Monarch. You don't need a nav key to access it, so it's got that going for it. But it's also kilometers away from Stellar Bay. Pick your poison. Marauders, wild beasts, acid lakes, bottomless sinkholes. Might be better. Suit yourself. Any times.
This is Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. Concerned citizens often ask why there aren't enough new faces in the Halcyon colony. We all want new neighbors from time to time. Our studies have shown that a controlled population is inversely proportional to consumer happiness. Fewer colonists means there's more paradise for the rest of us to enjoy. This has been Halcyon News, your only source for news in the Halcyon colony.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was this your room? I'll just move along. Wait, this is almost certainly my room. That's my underwear on the floor.
had a question about your plan, Mr. Vicker.
Of course. The cosmos is generated and directed by the universal equation, also known as the Grand Plan. By contemplating the teleological order of things, one can achieve verity. Oh, right. You had a question?
Never mind. That about answers it.
Halcyon News. We interrupt your regularly scheduled advertisement for the following story. And now for a special news from Chairman Rock.
How do you do? Sorry. Fine, as long as the Chief Tennyson holds... Didn't quite catch that. You'll have... Glass ear? Sorry, there's a lot of static on my... Nothing to fear. Sorry. Huh? What? Huh. Our Chief Tennyson has an independent streak, same as her mother and grandmother who rode this ship. There's a reason the board's embassy is a glorified shoebox, while Junlei Tennyson lives and breathes. Our local garbage collectors. That Lilia Hagen never met a debris. She freely admits she planted her roots in Groundbreaker to escape board. Of course, most of our supply... I try and steer clear of...
Sorry about the heat. Chief Tennyson will get the rate. Oh, and it's not the... lot of... Heard of it? My orientation aether wave showed that fame...
That's true.
That's a spacer's choice, Spirit. Take what you have. So, what can I get you? Some soap? Shit. Oh, shit. No, I'm... As the face of Spacer's choice, I'm bound to satisfy headgear-related inquiry. You would never ask if you... I mean, why, anyone can be a space... Oh, I'm having a stellar day, and not just because I'm legally obligated to say so. I can see all of the top quality. Spacer's Choice regrets that we don't sell toothpaste at this time, but we're always spread one. Don't miss out on these deals. You'll find none. Trouble sleeping? Try our Lunar Eclipse mix. The blast will send. Add an additional 10% to your. Even if my contract didn't forbid it. Now, are you ready to make... damn it. No slogan. If there are now, if we're done... It's fine. Speaking of anything and everything. Just the opposite. Spacer's Choice items are all... That's why you should get a backup or 3. Have a look.
Can't say I've seen you before. If you're here to better yourself, you'll have to wait. Did he now? He must be referring to... I'm beginning to wonder if... I'd be grateful if you'd spare the time. We need his delivery soon as you... Last he told me. You look out, though.
Something I can help you with? If only my other patients had so many inquiring after them. The records say Miss Doyle checked herself in and... She's not my patient. I'm certain... Take care. What seems to be the problem? Take care.
Keep hanging around. Look. You have yours.
I hope those automechs get here soon.
Mind your steps. There's puddles.
CNP, I can't believe it's not yours. It's unbelievable how good it is.
Sublight Salvage. Their front looks surprisingly on the up and up.
You reckon we can shop here, or is it all spoke for? I've seen you limping a bit. You all right, Mr. Vicker? Need us to slow down?
What are you implying? I am perfectly fit.
Welcome to Sublight Salvage and Shipping, a legitimate business. You the one flying the Unreliable? Miss Lily has been expecting you. Sure am. A few years back, they got me started on simple acquisition. These days, I stick to HQ.
So you're the new captain in town. I was hoping you'd make your... Lilia Hagen, CEO and Executive Director of Aggressive Operations. Charmed. It's nice to see the Unreliable. I didn't ask. I have a salvage job for someone like...
There is always a catch.
If you have a nav key to Stellar Bay, the job's yours. Interested? I like that initiative, but ease back on the throttle. If there's anything else... These days, the scrap business all but run... Our field is persuasive. Not all of our salvage... Your words. Hey, careful with the C word around here. Sublight. Very. I like... Ask. I have nothing to hide. Be seeing you.
Sublight for life. The corporation never lifted a finger for me.
You don't seem to like traveling with us much.
Why in the architect's name would you say that?
It's just that you're real... grouchy.
Back for a rest? Space adventuring is tiring work.
Hey, Captain. Can I get your... So, Junlei and I have been talking some. Through messages. I got him here on... She sent me a poem. One she wrote her... I don't know if I should read into it. Because poems are all symbolic. Oh, law. That's what's got me... It's about this engine that's been shaking itself apart. Then this lady mechanic comes by and lays one hand on it. I don't want to get too hopeful, but I'm wondering if maybe she's the engine and I'm... I don't know where it's leading yet, or I'm not much interested in physical stuff. It's been a problem in the past. Thanks, Captain. I actually had another message from Junlei. I just couldn't work up the courage to open it. But I'm gonna change that. Let's see here. Talking about old friends, got to thinking... They were... close, Captain. I don't know. Junlei talked about them like it was past, but... Captain, I'm feeling all mixed up right now. Could we maybe head to the Groundbreaker? Get some drinks at that bar there? Thanks, Captain. I'll be ready.